Hello. So, clearly, I'm in the back of my car. There's white in the background. I'm definitely not in the middle of North Dakota. I am sitting in the back of my car at the top of Mount Baker. There are children enjoying the snow in the background, so I apologize if you can hear them. But if you've ever driven long distance across the country from Washington to Wisconsin or Minnesota to the far west of North Dakota or something, you know that there's one route that you can take that won't take you through farmland that's at 45 miles an hour and blah, blah, blah. You also know how long and monotonous North Dakota, South Dakota, little bits of Wyoming, and most of Montana, you know how tedious those can be. Those can be. It's a very long drive. And most of those distances take between 8 and 12 hours to cross. When I do cross-country road trips, I like to stop maybe every other day to do a hike that I've always wanted to do, basically from my memory, from the first time I ever drove across the United States. I took a mental catalog of all these places I wanted to go, and Theodore Roosevelt National Park has always been one of those places. The painted canyons are a wonder. And there's lots of other places that I want to stop to and spend a little bit more time, like Medora, very cute little town. I stopped at Makoshika a couple years ago, highly recommend. It was way too hot though. Maybe don't go in the middle of the summertime. I keep looking over here, but the camera's right here, so I'm gonna try. If I'm looking over there, don't mind me. I'll try my best to look over here. Trying to get better at vlogging. So, I've driven across the United States a handful of times to go visit family. I'm from the West Coast, they're in the Midwest. And I finally had the free time during one of my trips recently to stop and do the hike at the Painted Canyons. I think it was the south unit of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. The following video is my hike through the Painted Canyon, and it's short, but you can see the trail from the overlook. And I've always wanted to do the hike, but I never knew where to start. And like 10 years ago, Google Maps wasn't what it is now, so you couldn't really see where trailheads started, and there was barely any service anyway to check what the map says. But last year I finally got to do the Painted Canyon Trail, and I found out that the trailhead starts and ends at the parking lot, but on opposite ends. One side of the parking lot and the other side of the parking lot. You never would know because there's no signs.
Post, edit. There's actual, like, multiple trails that you can take from the parking lot. They don't connect. The trail that I do is a loop. You begin and end at the same point. The end on the other side of the trail, there is a map for it, on one of the fences, if I remember right. Posted up on one of the fences, and that trail can connect you to the rest of the trails in the park. If I'm remembering right, you should find a map of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park, because that'll show you the trail system that I'm trying to relay.
I love that. So if you're interested in doing this hike and you have like a quick hour to burn, maybe after you just wake up, or probably that, don't go at night. The bison are there at night. But yeah, without further ado, here's the hike. So literally we're gonna pull off of I-94 into the Painted Canyon Overlook parking lot. Here's some information. Please do not fly drones. Don't be that person. And if you're really curious what I mean by overlook, just check this out. It's legitimately an overlook. You pull off of I-94 into this really long loop driveway. I feel like over 100 vehicles can park there. There's 4 rows. It's open to bison, so like sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and there's bison nearby, so you have to be careful. But yeah, like I was saying, the trail starts at the end of the parking lot. So right down there. Not those hard green lines. Those are on top of the overlook. And as you can see here, we're pretty much just going to descend immediately from the overlook down into the canyon itself. Nothing. Time to go back. These are kind of cool. Yeah, after I passed this stream bed, things started getting really, really lush. The temperature dropped probably like 5 degrees too. It was really nice. This little spot was kind of neat too. You could see the grass was actually bent over from a recent stream flow. So the reason why that's really cool to nerds like me is that in dry places like this, when you have something like a canyon like this, where there's a sheer face of dry material, dry earth, that just, it doesn't absorb any rain, so it just sends sheet flows down into flat areas like where that grass is growing, and the grass will slow down the water, but it won't slow it down enough until the velocity is actually to a point where the water can start to infiltrate the soil. And yeah, nerd stuff, right? And in case you couldn't tell, we are making our ascent. And by we, I mean I, or we as in you and I. The wind really started picking up here. There's thunderstorms on the way. You can see them in the background. And just to be extra clear, don't go hiking in canyons when rain is coming. Don't be an idiot. Silica. That's the can I picked up from earlier. Don't worry, I'm not leaving it there. It might be hard, but leave the rocks where they belong. No matter how pretty they are. Oh man. The silica. This place is called the Badlands for a reason, though. Don't jinx yourself. Gross. Why is it always the same kind of people? All starting to smoke. And we're back. Loop complete. Oops. Took the wrong part. Here we go.